Hey everybody, this is jokerspice. Bring a little spice to your life. Been a little while since I've uploaded to the channel, but I'm back. And today I'm going to be let's playing Sonic Heroes. Woo! I love Sonic Heroes. It's one of my absolute favorite games of all time. Super fun. Still like Sonic Adventure 2 more. But let's talk about the game a little bit. Let's go in this opening movie. Sonic Heroes, it came out in 2003. It was the first Sonic game to be developed for other Sega hardware. The last Sonic game, Sonic Adventure 2, is for the Dreamcast, where this one was developed for the Xbox, the PlayStation 2, and the Nintendo GameCube. So it was almost like a little bit of a reboot for the series. In a lot of ways, things are newer than ever, and in a lot of ways, we're returning to our old roots with this game. I'm really excited to show you this one. I played it a lot when I was a kid. Played it alongside Sonic Adventure DX and Sonic Adventure 2 kind of interchangeably. As I got stuck in one, I would play another level in another. And I really had a lot of fun with it. I think my favorite thing about Sonic is how big the world seems and how much lore, and despite the games kind of being standalone, there are things that carry through. I really like having a vocal main character that has agency and talks and has an attitude, where a lot of games in this era, where a lot of games that I was playing, had more silent protagonists and it was a little bit more subdued. Awesome. So thanks so much for stopping by. I hope you have a lot of fun with Sonic Heroes, and let's have a blast. Yeah, I forgot that you gotta watch through these little opening credits every time, annoyingly. Oh well, it's okay. Alright. There we go. Sorry, I kind of turned I turned I changed the volume a little bit. Alright, so file selection, have a couple practice files here, but we're gonna go with file 98. Weirdly enough, that was the one I always played with as a kid. I don't even really know why. Here we are. If you ever get lost, either in the menu or in the tutorial, you can press the Y button, and Omacha will tell you exactly what you need to do. Otherwise, right from the get-go, starting a new file, there aren't very many things to do. Can't even show you two-player without a second player connected, but there was not much to show. In the options menu, you have a couple of things. You can turn on or off your anti-flicker. Language settings is always nice. Here you can change your game data as well. Audio settings, probably just going to go with the stereo. And then rumble, I'm going to turn that rumble on. Awesome. Otherwise, that's pretty much it for the options. In the extras, you've got your CG theater. But all we have is the intro cutscene, because we haven't played the game yet. And then you have your audio room. And the audio room will update as you get like new levels and new events and stuff. All of it's played here, so that's pretty fun. Otherwise, going into one player, two of the options are unavailable. You can either play the tutorial, or you can go into story mode directly. Going into story mode, we have 4 different teams of characters. That's kind of the big thing with Sonic Heroes, is that instead of playing as individual characters, you're playing as a team of characters, and you're switching between the characters as you play the game for different objectives and different things. They all have their own little differences. Sonic would be the standard form of play, where the Dark Team is the hard version, pretty much everything that Sonic does, but harder. Then you've got Team Rose, which is like the easy version of the game. And then you have the Chaotix, which is not easier or harder, but is a mission-based style of gameplay. So if you really liked like the Knuckles stages of Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, where you had an alternate goal, this is kind of where that you find most of that. So for the start, we're actually going to go with Team Rose. I think it makes more sense to go with Team Sonic, but since Team Rose is the easiest one, I think it would just be more fun for myself, honestly, if we kind of just went with the easiest one first. Kind of gives me a chance to warm up my skills a little bit, especially going into the Sonic and Dark stages. Alright, here we go. So you got Amy Rose, you've got Cream the Rabbit, her friend Cheese the Chow, and you've got Big the Cat coming up pretty soon.
Hey, you guys, cheer up! You know we'll find them. No time to waste just standing here. Come on, let's get going.
Awesome. We got a bit of an unlikely team here, but we got Amy Rose, we got Cream, and we got Big, and they're joining together in order to save their loved ones or chase after them. First level is Stage 0, the Sea Gate.
Hello, I'm Ouji.
Hello, Omo-chan.
You can practice different types of actions. Listen to me carefully, and you will learn a lot.
Alright, we could totally go through that, but we're going to ignore Omo-chan for the most part, and I'll be providing the tutorial. Alright, here we go. So basically, when you do the Team Rose, you always have to do the tutorial first, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to start with this one. Basically, what Omo-chan was explaining is that with your characters, you have different types of characters. You've got your speed characters, you've got your power characters, and you've got your fly characters. They're color-coded, and in case you're colorblind, the little circles do have little icons on them, where the fly character is speed, and it's got the little wind. The power character, sorry, I think I missed this. The speed characters have a little wind thing on there. They're blue. You got the little yellow lightning bolt, and the burning power symbol has the little fire on it. Basically, all the characters in the game are organized as such, and those little things, TVs, tell you when you should switch, and these gates force you to switch when you go through them. Otherwise, you're switching with your X and Y buttons. These buttons, of course, being different depending on which version of the game you're playing. Speed characters obviously can go a lot faster. The characters line up behind each other, and they kind of behave like the regular adventure Sonic. They can jump, they can do a jump dash, and if you're near an object, a homing attack. In general, make sure you are always collecting rings. Rings are really important because if you take any hit without them, you will lose. You'll have to start over the level or from a checkpoint. Rings can come in boxes like this, and other than rings, you can also attack enemies. As you can see, your partners do actually help you out when you're fighting, so they're not just following you around. And just like what the Omo-chan was saying, is you can use your homing attack in order to get you farther distances. There are other extra controls that you can use with the characters, and characters, like especially the speed characters, have their very own unique controls playing the game. One of the things they can do is a Rocket Excel, which is different from like a normal spin dash, and they can help you. Alright, I didn't really do it well. It kind of didn't really work, but when everyone's lined up together and you let go of the button, Big tries to help. Oh my god. Oh my god, I'm really failing at this. Big, the power character will slam into the back character in order to boost you up. Just try not to press B too much if you're Team Rose specifically, because Amy has her very specific abilities. She can hammer in front of her, like the adventure games, and she can also hold the A button for this kind of assisted floaty jump. In this game, it's really important to collect these things. These are power-ups. Collecting them will power up your character and allow them to perform newer functions. Sometimes you'll find these power cores, these level up things, in enemies as well. I would argue that the fly character is your priority when powering these characters up. The fly characters are way slower and actually are tethered together in this vertical shape. But they do jump higher, jump slower, and you can hover with them. you can only fly up a certain distance. You can technically stay in the air forever, but you have a distance gauge which is indicated underneath the fly symbol in the top right that shows you how far you can go. The technique would be trying to jump as far as you can, and then using your fly to cover the rest of the distance. Since this game does have a certain amount of physics and momentum, using the speed character to go really fast and then switching to the fly character to jump would be a really great way of covering a lot of distance. Their main attack is using the Thunder Shoot attack, but that attack won't kill anybody unless you've got at least 2 power cores. Otherwise, it will paralyze the enemy instead, making them unable to move for a while. The fly character is actually one of the best ones to kill a lot of enemies with because of the way they chain their attacks together. Then we go into the power characters. Power characters are slower than speed, but faster than fly, and they fan out like this as well. Great for collecting lots of rings at the same time. Speed characters can break wooden boxes, but they can't break iron boxes, so you'll have to use those guys to help. And sometimes there'll be unique objects in a level where you still need these guys to destroy them. So these guys attack, and they have little combos that they can use to attack people in. And as they get more power cores, their combos become more devastating. You can only collect 3 power cores per character. To show you some other stuff, when you're in the air, you can also shoot your characters from above. And you can also press the B button while in the air for a devastating aerial attack. So these guys are really good for destroying enemies. As you probably noticed, enemies have life gauges in this game. So no more single hit enemies. You have to really go at it in order to beat them. Something that any character can do when the gauge at the top right is full is press the Z button, or the Z button if you're Canadian, in order to unleash a devastating attack. These attacks are unique to each team and have completely different properties. For Team Rose, it allows them to become invincible for a short time. They get a shield indefinitely until they get hit, and everyone levels up 1 time. It's definitely one of the better Team Blasts. And for the Sonic, Dark, and Rose characters, getting to the end of the stage and touching the gold ring is the way to end the stage. There's a lot more nuances to the game. There's a lot more there's a lot more controls to talk about, but as we play the game, we will find exactly what these controls are and how they're going to help us. So this is the actual first level of the game, Seaside Hill. I'm sure you've seen it from lots of different other games like Sonic and Sega All-Star Racing and Sonic Generations. So this is definitely a fan favorite. Alright, here we go. Oh my god, there we go, I'm already stuck. So, I'm going to try my best to get every A rank in the game. If I don't do it on camera here, then I'll probably make it a separate recording where I do kind of go over it. Awesome. What is happening with my camera right now? Oh my goodness. So, getting an A rank in any given stage is all about increasing your score at the top left as much as you can. Things that are influenced by your score are beating enemies. There we go. Collecting rings, destroying objects, and getting a good time. It's pretty easy to get the A rank with Team Rose. The biggest thing is that you can't really die when you're in a level. That's pretty much your big thing. Dying in a level resets your score, so you pretty much need to do a level in 1 shot. Checkpoints offer really good things, so it's still good to touch those things. But for the most part, you'll probably want to always... oh my god, it's so hard to talk. You're probably always going to want to restart a level if you've died, if you're looking for an A rank. Lots of different things already that we're seeing, but basically most things that you're interacting with in the game in one way or another is going to give you some points. If you're ever lost, you can touch those little rings with question marks and they'll tell you how to play. My strategy is pretty much to kind of take my time and destroy everything. You still want to go pretty fast, And sometimes it's better to just keep going in a level instead of like letting yourself get carried away with all the minutia. But this game does like reward exploration and trying to look at everything that there is to look at. These little colored rings here are really great because they're usually shortcuts. You've probably seen them in other Sonic games before as well. They kind of debuted in this one. There we go. Something that these cannons right here, depending on who you enter them with, you will get different reactions from them. Power characters let you aim, where speed characters usually shoot far, and the fly characters usually have you shoot high. Okay, wait, I missed that. There we go. Awesome. You might have noticed I was in a bobsled a little bit earlier. Basically, the bobsled has its own set of controls. You play them in a couple of levels in the game. The really funny thing is that the tutorial for the bobsled is like actually really wrong, and is a bit of a misdirection. I'll kind of explain it the next time we get into it. When playing the game, consider like your characters and how they're aligned. Sometimes it's good to be other characters because of the way they move through the levels. The game isn't trying necessarily to steer you wrong, so when the game tells you to use a speed character, it's generally good to use one. As you can see, I got a pretty decent score. Killing a bunch of enemies in a short amount of period is also a really good way to increase your score as well. This game has those arcade-like elements. Once you've cleared a stage, the character with the most points will always be the one to exclaim at the end of the level. You get points based on the power cores you get, how much time you've gotten, and of course, the rings that you have as well. Typically, getting a score of above 50,000 at the end of a level is gonna get you an A rank. When you beat a level, you get an emblem. I believe there are I think there's 130 emblems in this game. Either 120 or 130. If you collect a golden key, you actually get access to the special stage, something that they also kind of brought back from the original games, and something that is this specific stage returns as well in the Sonic Generations games, specifically the Nintendo 3DS one. Here, the goal is to try to get to the end of the level without the time running out at the bottom. You can unlock more time by collecting these little bubble things. They also increase your boost at the bottom right, or top right as well. These levels can be a little bit glitchy, and pretty much if you're ever at the top of one of these levels, it's not the best place to be. Pressing B as fast as you can won't make you go that much faster, and typically in these levels there's a section where you have to really conserve your energy as these Chow throw little bubbles at you. Yeah, going to the top of the level usually dramatically slows you down, so don't treat this as a full pipe, and treat it more like a half pipe. There we go. Awesome. You get bonus score as well for chaining your links together. There we go. We should be almost done this one since it's just the first one. Oh yeah, here we go. Something that makes this game really interesting in the series is that it's the last game that features a lot of the original, well, not original, I mean I guess they're kind of the original, the voice actors that you hear in Sonic Adventure 1 and 2. It was Shadow the Hedgehog, the first game where the 4Kids cast, like Brian Griffith and stuff, took over. So this game has that Sonic Adventure energy to it, which I really enjoy. Awesome. And with that, we've completed it. So the special stages are meant to be just kind of little fun romps. They don't actually really do anything, at least the ones for the first act, other than just give you 1-ups. 1-ups are only really helpful for you if you are having a hard time playing through the first time. But otherwise, if you're a little bit more balanced, especially when you're trying to get the A rank, they're kind of useless because you have to use a 1-up anyways to restart, and all losing 1-ups will do is make you restart. So it's kind of pointless. Lives in this game, I don't even know why they have it. Alright, here we go, the Ocean Palace Zone. So, this game doesn't have like an incredible huge story, but it does connect to the previous game a lot. How do these characters even know each other? Who are these guys? So in case you don't know, or in case this is kind of like a random game for you, this is this Sonic Advance was a game series coming out for the Nintendo Game Boy Advance at the time. And Cream is from those games. And they were kind of treating her like a Tails to, they were treating her as like kind of like a Tails to Amy in a sense. So that's kind of why they're partnered up together. And then Big and Amy met in the adventure games as well. So it kind of made sense to bring them back. As far as how they know each other, this is kind of the first game where these characters are paired with each other. It's kind of like a comic relief trio that just is mostly there to add a little bit of lightheartedness to the game. Collecting 100 rings, by the way, does give you a 1-up, which I forgot to mention. I think one of the reasons why I like this game so much is because it's actually very vocal. Collecting any of the little hint rings and stuff like that allows you to hear the characters interact with each other. There's plenty of voice lines where the characters interact with each other, which is super fun. And here we go. There we go. So yeah, I forgot to explain this in the tutorial, but instead of gliding with Knuckles or the power characters like you would in previous games, you still glide. It doesn't let you go as far, but you can use it to ride upwards air drafts. There we go. Here we go. Awesome. As for combos go, getting a 2000 is the highest a combo can go. So if you're ever wondering how come I'm not getting more than that, that means you actually were getting the most you can. Typically you want to move around with the speed character, and you're trying to basically use the other characters to kind of fill in the gaps. Really depends on how you want to play this game. That's kind of the nice thing about Sonic Heroes, is that there's a lot of wiggle room. I'm gonna try to refrain from restarting like I would normally do when playing this game, and I don't necessarily get in my way. Here, you know what? I'm gonna go the fly character route, I think. Just because I want to get a level up for my fly character, which would be nice. It also seems safer than aiming here, if I'm perfectly honest. And the fly character adds a certain level of safety. I will say this game has some pretty slippery controls. It's probably one of the biggest complaints about it. Sometimes it feels a little hard to get your bearings, and sometimes the camera's not super cooperative. I'd say don't use the C-stick, use your left and right, your L and R buttons to really control, especially when going off of ramps and jumps things. I just like to be the fly character, just in case I need a fly or whatever, I get hit with some dinky attack at the end. Awesome. And since I want to level up everybody one more time, I'll just use my Team Blast, destroy all the enemies, and... Alright. And with that, we are done with the Ocean Palace. Typically, the levels are way shorter than their Team Sonic or Team Dark counterparts. Oh my god, I missed that thing. I missed it again! Okay, that was crazy. I'm like, how am I gonna touch this thing? Like, alright. Alright, here we go. Ocean Palace has been cleared. With a score over 50,000, I've just made it.
Super duper happy.
And like I said before, the character that you got the most points with is the one that's going to say their little voice line at the end of the level as well. So special stages on the second level of any world will actually be an Emerald Challenge. These challenges are extremely important, otherwise you will not be able to complete the game. And what you have to do is race the Emerald. Kind of like Sonic Adventure 2, where you're in a half-pipe. You need to get to the Emerald before it leaves you. In Sonic 2, it was more about just surviving the level, but here you need to physically catch up to the Emerald. You only have a certain amount of distance before the Emerald is forever gone, and you have to re-attempt again. I would say save up your energy until you got big straightaways like this. Especially where you have lots of little gems like this. This is when you're gonna get it. This seems super easy, but trust me, the later levels are way harder. And sometimes you run into those speed traps and they actually slow you down somehow. Like, I was able to get it. I think there might be some rubber banding with the Emerald too. And going downhill certainly makes an effect. Oh, here we go!
Alright!
Team Rose is actually not a good team to go after these with, because they actually are slower than other teams. At least I believe so. Also consider that even though these characters might not be the best team to do this with, the other teams will have way longer levels, so every attempt is going to be a lot longer, basically.
So you're the ones who are playing games with my heart.
Dr. Eggman!
I'll show you what they want to.
Alright, we've got our first boss fight. It's against the Egg-Hawk. Unlike pretty much every other... What is going on with camera? Unlike all the other levels in the game, boss characters are actually gotten an A rank depending on how fast you were able to defeat these guys. Here we go. We got to beat up Eggman's cockpit. The head is the weak point. I think 30 seconds is what you need in order to get an A rank, so I might not have gotten it. Oh no! I'm almost there! Come on! Literally one hit, guys. Come on. Oh my goodness. It might be 1 minute. I'm not sure. We'll see. But it's based on time. It's not based on score here. So with a score of, I think like 40 seconds or something like that. 46 seconds, we get an A rank!
Why does he keep making these machines?
Forever, my dude. Forever. This game came out in like 2003 or 4 or whatever. It's been like 20 years. He's still doing it. And it's really hilarious. Alright. I think I'm actually going to end the episode here. The next time we hang out, we're going to take on the Grand Metropolis level.